Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studio for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I, of course, am joined by your favorite co-hoster, again, just made it here with his SUV Mazda with no winter tires, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. So last week you were... it was all right. This week, how is it driving in the snow? And when we got
I was
like 36
what
centimeters
are you talking
of snow.
about? You know what? I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Last year I had all seasons, and this year I have all seasons, and I actually find that I have more control and traction with all season tires than I do winter tires.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm a great driver. I don't know.
Have you let Megan drive in this?
No, no. That's
Although
not
she was in
not-
no condition to drive on
that,
Sunday.
that's true. Yeah, she had quite the adventure.
So did my wife, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Yeah,
she was. Yeah,
She had some fun.
she had some fun.
Yeah.
and
Hashtag girls' night.
yeah, it was her. It was two girls and one guy. So, and the guy wasn't me,
Yeah.
but no, she was out with coworkers, and that's perfectly fine. And no, she stumbled through the door at about 2:00 in the morning on Saturday night, and
Sunday morning.
so technically
Yeah.
Sunday morning, and woke me up, but that's fine. I'm not one to go out and party like that anymore.
No.
Those are my days. Days are over for me.
It's no. The Christmas party I found out quite quick. I don't feel 40, almost 41 in a couple weeks. I don't feel that until you start drinking with 25, even 30-year-olds. You realize real quick you ain't that young anymore, and it catches up like that. I'm at the point now where if I'm going to tie one on, and it's few and far between, it has to be on a Friday if I'm going to feel somewhat normal moving into a Monday at work.
Well, yeah, you got that right. Guess I it's been a while since I've been obliterated.
Yeah.
As is the word, and I usually am the one that's driving, so I have to be responsible, right? And so no, she usually goes up once a month, and I look after. Well, I don't really look after Avery because
She's your daughter.
by the time Megan leaves for the bar, Avery's already asleep. So I just literally, she was out the door at 9:30, and I was probably in bed by 9:45. This is perfect. Bed to myself, and but I will give it to my wife though. I'll hand it to her. We actually started something over the weekend that's probably one of the smartest things she's ever said, and I was quite impressed. So it's getting back to the whole Christmas shopping thing.
Yeah.
Where if you've been following along on our show, there was always an update of how much Christmas shopping I've got left and this and that. So my wife, with her brain, she's like, well, every time we go grocery shopping, we should just buy an Amazon gift card. So at the end of the year, when we do our shopping, we just use a gift card so we're not spending money. I'm like,
That does
Not bad.
make sense. I mean, you're adding to your alcohol budget, but
yeah. But I'm like,
at the end of the year,
yeah,
Yeah.
if you do groceries every 2 weeks, and you just happen to grab a $50 Amazon card off the shelf at Superstore every time you do groceries,
yeah.
well, $50 times.
Oh, grocery. My brain went every time she goes out drinking,
No,
grab
no,
an
no,
Amazon
no.
gift card.
No.
Not that she's an alcoholic, but like, you go to the hockey game or you go out with friends or she goes out
Yeah.
to work. My brain heard every time I go drinking, but you're talking groceries. Okay, yeah,
Groceries,
that makes even more sense.
So we buy a $50,
$50, yeah.
$50 Amazon
Yeah.
gift card every 2 weeks that we do groceries, and end of the year we've already got $800, almost 50, yeah, kind of, I guess, more
Yeah.
than close to that. So yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do.
That's
Just
pretty.
buy-
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea because
instead of
Christmas
forking out
number-
the cash at the end of
Yeah.
the year, you've got everything.
it's way
on-
easier to take it $50 every couple weeks or once a
Yeah.
month or something than it is to do all at the end of the year. Yeah, Layla got back Monday afternoon, so she got into great trip. everything's hunky-dory, working like it should. No flight delays, flew back Friday night from Prague to London, stayed in London, flew back London Saturday into Montreal. Got into Montreal, checked the flights. So her dad works for Air Canada, so she can fly standby, just pays the taxes. Or when she flies with her mom, I think they can do a 2-for-1. And but this time they saved a bunch of money. But anyways, she can fly standby, so she just puts her name on the list. And if the plane's full, she waits till the next one. If the plane's not full, she gets a seat. Mm-hmm. Saturday, she checked it. 6 spots available. So she's like, perfect. I don't have to book a flight. I don't have to do anything. Sunday morning, she wakes up. I get a message at 8:30 my time, 7:30 her time, because she's on a different time frame, like when she actually trying to train her body. Get up. Get up. You need to help me. Get up. I need you to log on to my work computer. I'm like, oh. So I get up. I'm like, oh, shit, this is bad. There was a full plane load plus 6 on the waiting list for standby. So her options were drive back to Ontario with her mom, who's from just outside of Belleville, so they can go to Toronto, and get on standby there and hope that there's more planes out of Toronto, and who knows when you're coming home. Spend $800 on a plane ticket one way, which is ridiculous in itself, or take the train. So she took Via Rail, and she works for Bell, so she's got a discount. So she left at 7 p.m. Sunday night. She was in Quebec City at midnight, and she was in Campbellton probably at about 9 a.m. She got home at 1:30 in the afternoon. In the middle of 20 to 30 centimeters snowstorm, so lucky we had gone home. But no Wi-Fi in her cabin. Her AirPods wouldn't hook to her iPad.
Oh, God.
So she only had music because she had downloaded shows before on the iPad. So she only had music. She only had her book. So I would like to do the train, but after hearing that, I'm just like, oh, that would be such a long trip. I mean, it was good to have her back, but I just like that is a long trip if you don't have TV shows or movies or something when you're just listening to music. But she is home. Everything went well in Prague.
Good.
So
awesome.
Here we go. Big weekend for us, bud. Both of us. Sir Jacob Pelche makes his debut with the Calgary Flames. Even though Daryl Sutter decided to shit on it. I mean, what an... first of all, he did it. He got to do it on a day where it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon out here, so we don't have to stay up till midnight. It's Hockey Day in Canada. It was a big one. It was against Tampa, so it was a big game. In all the stuff we were putting out, I reached out to him and I said, congratulations. You're the only jersey I'm going to own is a Flames one. It will be signed at some point, whether I send my mom down to Calgary to get it signed. It will be signed, and it will be in the studio up in and around here. I will not wear one. Have you ordered your jersey yet? Because Chris Dobson had reached out to me DM-wise on Instagram, so you didn't see it, but he said, I expect Mr. Boucher to have his jersey ordered, as he said, the time he plays his first game. So have you ordered it yet?
So I haven't ordered it yet. And the only reason why I haven't is when I went onto the NHL website, it said I wouldn't be here till June.
Right?
I'm like, okay, why is it so late? So it's I guess there's, I don't know if there's a backlog on Pelche jerseys now. Or
because it doesn't actually come from Calgary.
That's right.
It comes from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like if you had a friend, I could get us jerseys next week.
Yeah.
Because I know enough people in Calgary that can, like Clint lives in Calgary.
Yeah.
He could go to the store, get 2 custom Pelche jerseys, have them sent out. Yeah. He might be able to get them signed, but he can send them out.
Yeah.
It's the same with, I ordered Tampa Division Championship shirts because without Tom, it might be the last time we ever get one of those. I ordered it January 2nd when they won the division. And I just got it 2 days ago. It's like, this will not be shipped till January 12th. You have these ready to go. You literally, if they don't win the division, you send these things to Africa. You send these to countries that don't have t-shirts. Yeah. You have these ready to go. Why is it taking 2 weeks? So you pre-ordered it, or are you just going to wait?
Well, it's ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know.
Man, you could probably go down to the D&M Sports.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And get one, and then go to the Avenir Center. They might be, although it's tough to get the the flame logo, like the flame numbering, right?
Yeah.
You want to get the right one.
Yeah, and I
Would
also
you get a
wanna
black one, a red
I
one?
want to get the Blasty jersey.
Yeah,
Just because that was his
the first one. That's
His-
what I'm
his
getting
first
if I
game.
get one. Is the Blasty
right?
one? Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yeah.
So what'd you make of the comments
So I understand
as an actual Flames fan?
Flames fan, when I first read it, I was pissed.
Yeah,
I was upset. I was mad. Daryl Sutter just, proving to the rest of Canada that dinosaurs do still exist in Alberta.
yeah.
But when you look at it, I mean, once you sleep on it, you kind of have an idea of where he was going with it.
Yep.
As disrespectful as it was, for him to ask what jersey number he wore.
That was the worst part
and
for
then
me.
pull out the stat sheet. At the end of the day, he told Pelche that he played a good game.
Yeah.
And that's, it's Daryl Sutter. He's always been someone to toy with the media and, have these one-liners and stuff like that. And so I was a little upset when he first heard it, when he first said it.
Mhm.
But I've had a few days to sleep on it. It doesn't bother me now
I think
because it wasn't. He played again Monday night.
Yeah.
It's not like they sent him right back down to the Wranglers.
yeah.
So it
And
was
by right back down, you mean like 2 doors down.
literally 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. The heat of the moment, just knowing that he literally almost scored on his second shift.
Oh
If the
my
puck
god!
would have been, 5 inches higher, it would have been above the pad and below the glove.
Yeah.
And
And just a Pelche shot, like
Yeah.
that's his play. Is he's always around where he needs to be,
Yeah.
where the puck is. It just lands on the stick, no one around him, wide open, just a
Yeah.
beautiful chance. Like
if it's
would have been unreal.
second shift too, literally 5 inches higher, it would have been in the back of the net.
Yeah,
You know,
on Vasilevsky.
Vasilevsky, one
Yeah.
of the best goalies in the world, and that's that. But he played again.
Which-
I was Monday night against Columbus, and he was a +1 because I think he was on the ice for Walker Duehr's goal.
Duehr's goal, yeah. I thought Pelche scored it the way that they started to do the line. Pelche
Yeah.
started to go first, which is kind of and I'm like, oh, did he? I'm like looking for the remote, and then
Yeah.
he kind of slowed down. I saw Walker Duehr. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Because if I kind of missed it, I was flipping back and forth between that and Monday Night Raw.
I don't want to be sleeping when he scores his first goal.
No.
That's why I was hoping he scored on Saturday, and just the fact that it was literally that close.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be happier. It's just he deserves it, and it's better than.
Did he play more on?
7:36 on Monday.
So we got an extra minute or so.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the problem that I had with Daryl Sutter's comments, obviously, when you first hear it, is like, great, he buried him. Like he's going back to he's going back to Calgary. As Marty Kingston said, he's going back to Stockton in the American Hockey League. I was like, great, he buried him. We won't see him again this season. Like this was a shot at the fans who wanted Pelche to play, and Ryan Pinder, yeah. And who's the guy that looks like McLovin in the afternoon? Steinberg. They're all wanting him to play, especially on the road trip. And then so the number thing I bothered that. But then as I was like the next day, you kind of sleep on it and you hear things coming out from different media members, and I can't remember who said it. I think it was Ryan Leslie. But they were like, this is Daryl Sutter's humor. And I think he tried to make a joke like, let's temper the expectations. But it just landed flat.
Yeah.
And seemed very condescending and it was Eric Francis he speaks about leadership and maturity, and he wants that veteran presence on his hockey team, and then when he gets a chance to talk about a young guy, he's like doesn't show any maturity, doesn't show anything, right? Like so he played he played Monday night, so at least he's getting back in there. We'll see if he continues to get the games. Is he up there because of an injury, or is up there taking someone's spot?
Brett Ritchie.
Injury or spot?
Injury.
Okay.
So he started skating again.
Okay.
So I don't know. It depends on how much longer he's going to be up. Brett Ritchie can be back this week, and
If he was 2 inches taller, he'd be in the lineup regularly.
Exactly.
Because Daryl Sutter doesn't mind young guys. He won with Dallas, or L.A. with Kopitar and Drew Doughty, and they were young. They weren't veterans. It's the smaller player style, which is ridiculous because isn't Andrew Mangiapane smaller? Isn't Kadri smaller? Kadri's a veteran, but isn't Mangiapane smaller than Pelche?
No, Mangiapane, I think he's 5'9" or 5'10".
Oh, okay.
Even Dubé's a small guy.
Yeah,
but,
Dubé, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think it's those two guys were on the team before I think Sutter came around. So Pelche's going to make it. If they wouldn't, the thing with Pelche is I'm not sure exactly how long he's going to be in Calgary. I mean, at this point, you've got Kadri locked up long term, you've got Huberdeau locked up long term, and I just don't see a
path.
He's probably going to be buried on that. The only player who I think whose spot he could realistically take over down the road is Michael Backlund's, and because they're similar players. And I'd even say that Pelche's got a better work ethic and he's faster than Backlund.
Yeah.
But if Backlund leaves, I mean, just give Pelche number 11 back. But
what if you just release that big anchor you call Lucic and put Pelche in that spot?
Oh yeah. But Lucci's people hate him, but he brings a different.
He brings a toughness,
toughness, a different dimension to the game, and. I think
he's not branded for his speed like Pelche would be.
You need a player like him in the lineup.
Yeah.
Because he is a leader. He's leader. He brings so much to the game, and he's not going to score every night, but
he's going to give room for Mangiapane and Pelche and Huberdeau and stuff like that. Yeah.
He can still chuck the knucks, and that's that. I mean, other than that, it's.
You ordering another one, or are you just seeing if it's any quicker?
I'm just checking.
All right. So, obviously, congratulations to Pelche. He'll continue to hopefully get into that lineup, and hopefully, I don't even know when they play the next game, but maybe you score on that one. I think you did too, but we both picked Pelche to score the first goal of that game, and we were that close to hitting it. Because I don't know who else. I'm assuming other people just randomly threw his name out in the first game, but like you said, you were about to blow the roof off that place. I was filming his first shift, and I was filming his second because I was like, if he's gonna score, it's gonna be he's gonna get in early, and just kind of because the adrenaline's gonna be going. So I filmed that one, and I filmed the shot, and I was ready to lose my mind on the camera. So let's get into it. As always, don't forget to follow us on social media: Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast. And on the YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy it. No quick question, unless you have an idea who's going to win the Royal Rumble this weekend.
Hornswoggle?
Perfect. All right, let's get to the news and notes from around the cube.
News and notes from around the cube.
All right. The Kubota Top Prospects game goes tonight at 11 o'clock Atlantic time. Etienne Morin is representing the Wildcats on Team Red. Also has a letter on his jersey.
An A.
An A. Not quite the C, because the C on the jersey stands for Connor, which makes a ton of sense because he's the captain of everything he's going to do, except when he makes it probably to the next level, because that's a little bit much. But, I mean, there's no games this week in the CHL. It's all about the top prospects. And, we saw this last year with Barbashev. He went there, had a great camp, I guess, testing session, played a good game, had a few shifts with a couple hits early, a couple chances, and he came back a stronger player. And not that Morin needs to come back as a stronger player, but this just helps playing with different guys, different coaching, hearing different things, and being around the best players in the CHL.
I agree, and I will point out, and I don't want to be nitpicking everything about this team recently, but I will say that maybe Morin hopefully this is kind of a wake-up call for him, because in my opinion, he hasn't exactly been playing his best hockey as of late. And no. I don't know if that's got to do with his new defensive partner or what.
Yeah.
But he was like correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't even look, but in the 3 games last week, he was like a -3 or a -4, and that's just totally out of the ordinary for him. I think he was even like -3 or -4 in the Charlottetown game.
He was -5 in Charlottetown.
Like that's nothing against him.
No.
I think it's the new defense partner that he happens to have, but I really hope he comes home and I hope he has a really good game and shows off. And I'm glad he doesn't have to defend against Bedard.
Yeah.
I'm happy they're on the same team.
Just get a lot of assists as you're passing the puck to him. So he's a -7 in 3 games.
-7 in 3 games. Like that's like going into those 3 games, he was a +18.
And Hamel was a -4. We're going to get into this a little bit early, but or a little bit later.
He's like, I don't know it's just been a tough stretch for that number 1 pairing, and I think maybe the time away from the team and the different environment this week helps him out.
Yep. Yeah, I believe that there's nothing bad that comes from this. We saw it with Barbashev. I mean, the flight to the other side of the country and time shift might be a little bit difficult to adjust coming back, but he'll be fine. The game's tonight. He'll probably fly out first thing in the morning. He'll be back Friday. He'll be ready to go. A player you liked coming out of the draft a couple of years ago, Luke Woodworth, was named captain of the Drummondville Voltigeurs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's really a shock coming out of that group. Because I feel like they're a team that's gonna maybe put something together next year. So
and that's together next year. Kind of when I went on that rant last week about Gauthier. Did I mean it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was.
Of course we did.
Do I actually think he's going to be a Wildcat next season?
Yes.
No, I don't. No.
Oh, you really don't?
No, I don't. It's just one of those things where I slept on it, and I probably said a little too much.
You gotta stop sleeping, bro.
Yeah. I wish I could use a sleep right now. Let's put it that way. There's just, I think a spot like Drummondville, which is where he's from.
Yep.
Or Rimouski. I hope it's not Rimouski, because that would give them a better chance at hosting.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably in Drummondville or Victoriaville next year.
Was it the fact that it's the Drummondville hometown, or it's the what we have to give up to get him that win?
I think it's the Drummondville hometown thing.
Yeah.
And when
more than what we'd have to give up.
I looked at what they have in the bank, and they've got a lot more in the bank than we do. They have picks that look a lot better than ours. Yep. And, the Sherbrooke would have no interest in our lottery pick in 2026, I don't think. That's not really what they'd be going for. And so we would have to kind of... Now, again, I'm not going to go and start talking about him again. I don't think he's in Moncton next season. The following season, I mean, that's very possible.
As a 19-year-old.
Yeah. However, I do think there will be a player in Moncton next year that currently plays in Sherbrooke.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we'll start at that. And that's...
we'll leave it at that.
I'm not going to go in another 5 to 10 minute rant about players on next year's team and what it's going to take to build a Memorial Cup and this and that. I just think, maybe he's probably not the player on Sherbrooke that we expect to see in Moncton next season.
Yeah, and it's never a bad thing to speculate that stuff, and that's you want to draft where you're hosting. You want to make a splash. That's how you make a splash with your most valuable asset. But yeah, Moncton's got 3 firsts this year, a third and a fourth. Drummondville's got 2 firsts, a 3 and a fourth. But next year, Moncton's got a first, second, third, whereas Drummondville's got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, including Sherbrooke's second, a third, and 2 fourths.
And
so
they've got Charlottetown's first next year, which is
probably a lottery. Or
close to very good chance.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
so if you're going to make a splash, if you're on Sherbrooke's end, you probably make a splash with getting one of the first this year and getting Charlottetown's first and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So Sherbrooke will make a splash at the draft, and they'll be picking a lot better than the 6th round. And it's just a matter of where he goes.
Going back to the captain, I mean, Luke Woodworth makes sense. You look at that team, Probably wasn't going to be Pedelit. Probably wasn't going to be Lamoureux. We're not around that team a lot, but you look at the names. I mean, I guess you could have gone Maddox Landry for this year because he was a captain and he comes over. But I haven't really been a fan of the captain one. Like, you acquire a captain and then you name another captain and then another captain. And this gives him a captain for 2 years. Maddox Landry was the name I would probably pick if I was a betting man. But they go with Luke Woodworth, which, like you said, you liked him coming out of the draft. So
Yeah, I did.
not a bad selection. The Patrick Waugh, the hated Moncton fans hated coach. He got his 500th win in Quebec. Good for him. Obviously, it is good for him. We've got the Q team of the week here as I get back to it. And basically, it's not so much the Q team of the week. It's the Quebec Rempart Halifax. It's the Quebec Mooseheads team of the week with a different goaltender. As I'm just slowly going to it because I had it open and then looking at other stuff. Zachary Bolduc, 3 games, 1 goal, 8 assists. Theo Rochette, 3 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. Attilio Biasca, 3 games, 6 goals, 1 assist, as the Mooseheads are just on a hell of a heater right now. Defenseman Nicolas Savoie of the Quebec Rempart, 3 games, 0 goals, 5 assists. And David Moravec from Halifax, 3 games, 0 goals, 3 assists. I generally screw one of those up. So literally, the only thing they didn't do was make William Rousseau or Matthias Rousseau the goaltender to even it out 3-3. But the player of the week as well as the goaltender of the week was Charles Edward Gravel of Blainville, 2-0-0, a 9.75 save percentage, and a 1 goal against average. And that brings us to the Jeremy Boucher Wildcast podcast team of the week.
Yeah, the one that makes more. No, I'm just kidding. Where should we start, Mr. Adam?
You can start in. You know what? Mr. Ritchie builds from the back end out.
That's right.
So let's build from the back end out.
Sounds good. So I'm also going to go with Charles Edward Gravel. Same reason that he was on the QMJHL team of the week. Let's just say that we will need more performances like that from him if Blainville is to overtake the Val-d'Or for War standings.
Yes, we were so close to having him after the weekend. But
Yeah, it's so close. If Val-d'Or would essentially be in a lottery position right now, but they went and beat Drummondville over the weekend.
that's what we'll start next month, the Val-d'Or Watch.
That's right.
Week after week.
The VD Watch.
Yep, the VD Watch. We'll call it something else, but yeah.
On the back end, our own Etienne Morin, his game winner against Cape Breton was his 15th goal of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's actually the first Wildcats defenseman, believe this. Remember, keep in mind, we've had Jordan Spence on our team.
Keith Yandel on our team.
No,
Oh, okay.
the 15th goal of the season is the most by a Wildcats defenseman in a season since 2014-2015.
Wow. We've had some pretty good defensemen since then.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Jeez.
Jacob Sweeney had 17 in 2014-2015.
Well, he's going to crush that.
Hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, we sure do.
Hope so. And the second defenseman is Frederic Brunet. Points in every game since every game except for one, since being traded to Victoriaville. Up front, starting with Giovanni Morneau of Charlottetown.
Not bad.
The Islanders player no one is talking about. Riley Kidney, 19 points in 7 games.
God, am I ever glad he didn't go to
Since
Halifax.
being traded to Gatineau.
Oh, am I ever glad him and Merlanson didn't go to Halifax.
Yeah. And finally, also, Attilio Biasca. Attilio Biasca.
It could be Athilia in
Athilia,
actually Swiss, but Attilio is what.
So you got a 5-goal game against St. John.
Yeah.
And there's only been 2 other Mooseheads to do that.
McKinnon.
Was one.
And I feel like it's an odd defenseman that nobody thinks about.
No, it's Jason King, which you wouldn't even know who it was.
Was he a defenseman?
No, he was forward.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like he was one of the.
He's like one of the
he
first
might have been
captains or something.
around, like in the first season of the Mooseheads.
Because I've recognized that name from when they were hosting the World Cup and they had different people dropping the puck. I think he was one of them.
Yeah. So you go. That's my 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. And yeah, I was going to name a coach this week, but I decided not to.
I've got one of your defensemen at some point when he gets 2 more points. Because he's going to smash his all-time points record.
Beautiful.
So whenever he gets 2 more points.
Talk about progression.
Yes. All right, that was an excellent team of the week there, sir. Let's get into the Weekly Rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
Do I play it? Do I play it?
No, not yet.
Welcome to the cursing.
Yeah, there is a lot of cursing. Welcome to the Weekly Rewind, presented by Local Sports Pub. Look for a great place to have some wings, beers, and watch sports. With friends, head to 1715 Main Street, where the Salty Sea Dog used to be.
The Salty
Dog. This week they will have the AFC and NFC championship games this weekend as each team fights.
Get them to show the Royal Rumble.
Maybe they should. Yeah, that's on Saturday. AFC is Burrows versus Mahomes as the Bengals take on the Chiefs, and the NFC is the Eagles taking on the 49ers.
Predictions?
I want the Bengals to get there, but I think at some point Mahomes is going to beat Burrow. And I think it's this week, and I think we're going to see a Kelsey Super Bowl, and they just kind of retire together no matter who wins. So I got the Eagles and the Chiefs because the other Kelsey that I can't remember his name is the center for the Eagles. So, yeah. Nice. So Jason Kelsey and
Travis Kelsey?
Yeah, Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey. Yeah. So I think it'll be the Chiefs and the Eagles. Again, Super Bowl that I really don't care about, and it's tough we live in Canada because I'm not just going to watch it for the games, and I don't really care about Rihanna and the halftime show, so...
Excuse me?
I don't. I'll watch it, and it'll be unbelievable.
You don't care about Rihanna?
Nah, not really. But I got a prediction for next year's halftime show.
What's my name?
I got a prediction for next year's halftime show, though, or if I was doing it.
Taylor Swift?
No. Imagine Dragons. The Super Bowl's in Vegas next year.
Oh.
So they are a perfect halftime show for that. What's your prediction in the AFC NFC Championship?
I'm going to go with the complete opposite of you.
Yeah.
Just for the shits and giggles. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with the 69ers.
Nice. Which you predicted would get there 2 years ago.
I did. I was just a couple days off.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah. And so which means in a couple of years, the Denver Broncos will be in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I predicted this year, but that did not work. We made the playoffs. Shout out to the Local Sports Pub, though. We did go there last week. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for a friend Ryan Dupuy,
Daypray.
Damn it. He knows I fuck his name up all the time. If it wasn't for him, it literally would have been a Jeremy and Adam date night.
Yes.
We were the only ones in there.
If Ryan wouldn't have been there, I would have reached out my hand and tried to touch yours.
Yeah, it would have been a date night for sure. We had the Burger Fest. So how was your Nan Burger?
I was quite impressed.
Yep.
Quite impressed. Obviously with the local, they've got the connections or the relationship with the East Coast Kitchen Group on St. George, so it's not cooked right there. It is delivered, and honestly, it was still good.
Yeah,
wasn't soggy.
Nope.
I'm not sure if it's probably not homemade butter chicken. Probably not homemade butter chicken sauce, but it tasted good. The chicken was good, and I was impressed. I know I said a couple weeks ago I tried to get 5, but I've only had that one. Yeah. So it's
$25 a pop. It gets
it gets expensive.
It gets there. I had the Such a Brat burger, bratwurst cheese burger. Obviously, it was very good. Could have been a little. I think the fact that it was delivered, the cheese wasn't like that. You know when you see a commercial and that cheese is like that soggy, melty cheese.
Yep.
It had kind of hardened a little bit to where it wasn't, but it was delightful. Now you and Ryan both have been in the Salty Sea Dog and now see this place. It's so much cleaner, and really what this was a test, because for all of our great fan listeners that have been there at St. Louis 3 years ago, and the Igloo last year, we haven't exactly had the best sound picture quality. And we had 70 people listen to a game with no sound. We had a few people listen on with very limited TV sound. I think we had like 9 screens, perfect sound, perfect surround sound. So it looks like a spot that A, is much cleaner, and B, will be the Wildcast podcast viewing party for the playoffs this year, as we'll have every game that they allow us to have as the Wildcats head out on the playoffs.
I was impressed. Like the volume was good. I mean, there's only 3 of us in there.
Yeah.
Probably didn't have to have it that loud.
Yeah.
But no, if there's a good amount of people in there, it's going to sound really good. They've got the game was probably on 6 or 7 TVs.
Yeah, something like that.
And bartender was great. Like I said, we were probably paying her salary just being there.
Yeah.
So no, the great spot. Bathroom is a lot cleaner than it was at the Salty Sea Dog. A lot cleaner.
Yeah.
The door actually closes.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I was great, really good first impression.
Yep. So don't take it from us. Go down and see it this weekend. Anytime you want to go see a sports game, they have on all the screens there. So as much praise as we give them, now we got to talk about the team. After winning 5 of 6, they've now lost 4 of 5 because they had the one game moved. They went 1-2 on the week. Like I said, now lost 4 and 5, bringing the record to 22-18-0-2, 46 points. Second in the Maritimes, tied for 5th in the conference. We're not going to go game by game. We're going to summarize the games, and then we can pick where you will. I lost 5-3 to the Islanders after being up 3-1, and the wheels just fell off. Sloppy, bad execution all over the ice. Friday they got a 5-3 victory over the Eagles, and what's been basically back and forth series against them, and it was a back and forth type game. The Wildcats ended up outlasting them. And then Sunday was just a 5-2 loss that looked disinterested, lack of effort. The Sags are on a 3-3. Mm-hmm. We get 2 shots in the first period. We look like the team that was on a 3-3, and like I said in the
4 and 5
for them, something like that.
Yeah.
We look like the team that was on that and had gotten back Saturday night from a road trip from Val-d'Or at like 2 a.m. in the morning and had to play at 4 o'clock. Like, it was just so. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to start?
I'm gonna play that Bruce Boudreau clip from
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know where to start. The Islanders game was unacceptable.
Yeah.
To have a 3-1 lead against the last overall team in the league at the time.
Mm-hmm.
To blow that is unacceptable. You can't. Those are 2 points that you lost that will be extremely valuable at the end of the year, and you just will not get them back.
Yep.
It's tough to really put into words how frustrated I was. Like, we were in the bar watching that, and how many F-bombs did I drop? And usually I only swear when I'm drinking, and I was drinking. But these were...
We were kind of disappointed we were the only ones in there, and then at 4-3 with that kind of an effort, we're like, thank God a bunch of people didn't come out and spend money to watch this. Like, It was just... And it was, like we said earlier, Etienne Morin, -5. Anthony Hamel, -3. Like, when has Morin been on the ice for all 5 goals in any game? Like, I'm sure there has been some, but man, that pair just, I'm done with it.
It's they're
like, for me, it's got to be.
I want to look at. I want a glimpse of the future.
Yeah,
I want to see Morin and Grenier together. And you know what? That's who's probably going to be your top pair. Well, that's maybe going a little too far. I don't think Morin and Grenier are going to be.
Morin and Forte John could be your top pair, though. Look, why did they go away from Morin and Marcel? Now, I know you had Hamel and Iasenza, and they worked really well, and sometimes you don't want to make trades until your socks are blown off, and a first-round pick is a first-round pick, and you have to make that deal 10 times out of 10. But that has affected Anthony Hamel more than we thought it would, and I don't understand why it's not Muriel That's what I'm calling him. Moran and Marcel is Morel. Moran and Marcel and Hamel and Plandowski, or Hamel and Fortier John, because those two played well. Those two played a couple games together in the first half of the year, and I didn't mind those two. That should be your top four, and then you've got Plandowski, Ballantyne, and Grenier that you play together. And Plandowski and Grenier, they're kind of the same player, a little bit older. So if that's how you bring along a veteran or a young kid, great. But Marcel and Moran have to be your top pair coming into this weekend. Like, they have to. They played so well together.
Well, they're going to have to make changes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
all
go in and you lose to St. John, I mean, I don't want to put it out there, but at what point is it a coaching thing rather than a player thing? And I mean, we're less than 2 months away from the playoffs. Do you make a coaching change?
I'll play the other side. Who? For who? Because right now it's, and I talked about this on the live, it's a power play thing. This power play is so stagnant.
It's shorthanded. It's power
special
play.
teams, but their power play. If you watch,
you have veterans turning the puck over.
Over
you'd think it was a 16-year-old call up.
Yeah, and like I said on the post game, like, we can see the ice from where we sit, so it's very easy for us to pick it. But if Baudouin just flips it the other way, and we saw that earlier in the year where LaBelle gave it up and we let it go. But that if you go back and watch the Sags' first power play and a few of their power plays on Sunday, and you go watch Moncton's power play, they go the 1-3-1. Etienne Morin stands at the top. Loshing stands over on the McKenna wing or the Ovechkin wing or whatever you want to call it, and he stands there and he waits for 1-Ts. And the puck goes to LaBelle or to Auger or to Mercier on the one side. They move it into whoever's in the middle. It comes back. It goes up to Moran. He makes a move. If he has no shot, he gets it over to Loshing. And that's the power play. Over and over and over.
You know what the power play has been lately? Shooting into the guy's shin pads.
Yeah, because as soon as they just put a guy out there and he just stands in front of Loshing and blocks it. It's the same thing. There's no movement. There's no pucks intentionally missing off the boards to come back because we have lively boards. Put some new guys out there. Give Mercier a chance on the top. Auger, Mueller, Tybell, Grenier. Give him a chance. Like,
we've seen
something has to, like, you have to do something. They're just standing there and they're just trying to feed Loshing. And God love him, when he hits the net, it can go in. But he's got to either hit the net or he's got to get it past shin pads. It's just so stagnant right now.
Yeah, and that's all they're doing. They're getting their shots. It seems like every shot is being blocked. Like they had, I think they finished the game against Chicoutimi. They finished with 23 shots. They probably had 20 shots blocked,
and 15 of them were in this third period.
Yeah,
when they're on cruise control because it's 5-2 and they don't care. They're on cruise control and they've got their best goalie last year in the league, and Charles-Antoine Lavallee. Shout out to him. Great Q career. Thanks for staying in Moncton, and good to see you one last time. And when they do the power play, they get two guys in front of the net, and now you've got four guys trying to, like, Lavallee doesn't have to make many stops because there's so many guys in front of the net taking pucks. Like, it's a movement thing, and I don't know how you fix it other than trying to get different guys. Because is it Heptich or is it LaBosse that runs the power play?
no idea.
No idea. But LaBosse is usually the one drawing the stuff when they call timeouts. But it's just, it's a sloppy effort, and I don't understand it because in the first half of the year they were going well with the coaching. So what's changed? Like, ISNs and Darcy were that valuable?
At this point, you'd think so. I mean, there's, like I said 3 weeks ago, I said it was too soft, and it's still too soft.
Yeah.
They're still turning the puck over. They can't break out. They
At
can't
all.
complete a pass.
No.
Like, there's absolutely nothing that's going right with this team right now. And thank God there's a week off right now to actually work on stuff and figure shit out.
Yeah.
Because you've got 2 games coming up this weekend, winnable games, and then you're going on the worst road trip of the season.
So, perfect. That leads me into my question for you. And you can tell me if I'm crazy. These 2 games at the end of January are must-win home games. Because if you're right now, you've lost 4 or 5. You lose these 2, and they're against teams you could. You've lost to Cape Breton early. St. John, you play down to the competition, and look what happened in Charlottetown. You're now 6 of 7. You head out against Gatineau, Victoriaville, and Quebec on 3 and 4 nights on the road. You're looking to come home in February at losers of 9 of 10. We're not hoping for home ice. We're hoping to stay in the playoff race because teams behind us are catching up if they're winning hockey games.
Yeah.
So
You've
are
got
these 2 games?
Charlottetown's on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, because they got a goaltender that is stealing games for them. And that's, I'm not saying anything against Steinman or Filion, but they've got a goaltender as a 20-year-old, which he should do, that's stealing games. So that's, again, smart by Holton. But am I crazy to think that these are must-win hockey games? Because I left Halifax and Quebec. Great. We lost those 2 games. We were in them. I'm okay with those 2 losses. We were in the games.
I wouldn't go as far as calling them must-wins, but you better damn well get points. That's all I'm saying. Like, you better damn well get points, or look, we could be looking for a new coach by the beginning of February. And
Again.
The Moncton coaching circus is like the St. John goaltending circus. You can't find one that's good enough. And Dan Lacroix is he's a pro coach, and he's been doing extremely well. But lately, it's falling off the earth.
It's falling on deaf ear. Like, he was so good at details and, bringing the guys that were coming up into the lineup, and they knew what to do and they knew how to play. And I don't know where the disconnect is
disconnect right now. Yeah.
In a month. Like, this team was great going into the trade deadline. We were okay with making moves to add to win playoff rounds, and in a month, it has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, it's as easy as that. Like, it's junior hockey. You can, but this is just the Wildcats. It's always been like this. They play up to their they can play with the contenders, but then they look down in the standings. The effort's not this. It's not the same effort. If they can, this team could beat every team in the league if they played 60 minutes.
Yeah,
they're right there.
Yeah,
but they don't play 60 minutes. They'll play 55, and goddamn well in those 5 minutes they'll give up 3 goals and lose the game.
Yeah,
and it's and that's what's frustrating. We've got fans who've been season ticket holders for 26 years. They invest their time, they invest their money, and they go to the rink and they expect to, you expect to win a game.
This was the season you were going to the rink expecting to win.
Yeah.
Not hoping to see a good effort.
Like, how close are we to 500 right now?
21-18. We lose these 2 games and we're 21-20. We shouldn't be 500 right now or close to it.
No, we should not be.
We
should be at least in the top 5 in the league right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand this team. It's incredibly frustrating as a fan to lose games you should be winning. And you're winning games you should be losing. And you're losing games you should be winning. There's something wrong. Like, play the same way every goddamn night.
So this team was 16-13 at the Christmas break.
16-13.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, and we felt better about them at 16-13 than they are now and like the 5-game winning streak helped get the numbers up there, but now it's 21-18. So you're in the exact same spot. And you look at we're talking about special teams, the 4 losses, they were 1 for 4 on the power play, 1 for 5 against Quebec, 1 for 5 against Halifax, 2 for 6 against the Isles, and 0 for 4 against Chicoutimi. The PK, so that's 4-19. The PK, 2 of 5 against Quebec, 2 of 4 against Halifax, 0 for 3 against the Isles, and 2 for 4 against Chicoutimi. And this was an area, especially the penalty kill, that got Mueller on the World Junior team. Well, one of the reasons. But it was, I've said it, one of the reasons I talked about this team. Daniel, Mueller, Tybell, Lounsbury. They were one of the 4 best PK units in the league. And I don't know if it's just using the same guys over and over again, but it's just something is amiss. And, the goaltenders aren't playing great right now, but it's not always on them.
Well,
It's
they're not playing great because the defense is hanging them out to dry.
because it's everybody in front of them, yeah.
The forwards
That's
are
what I
playing
mean.
fine. The
Yeah.
forwards are I have no issues with the forward group right now, except for Baudouin. I can't. His 2 turnovers against Chicoutimi, like,
Yep.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially the one for the goal, like just
what is he doing? What's he thinking? There's you can't have that from someone who's a leader on this team. Like I said earlier, that's something you'd expect from a 16-year-old call-up playing his first game in the Q.
Yeah.
Who thinks he's maybe the top player in his midget league. But a veteran, a President's Cup champion,
yeah.
making a turnover like that. I mean, come on. Wake up. And, the whole decor right now is a mess. There needs to be something fixed. The forward group, other than the power play setup, I have nothing wrong with the forward group right now.
Yeah. I still would maybe move a few things around, but
The Samuel Johnson's goal in the Cape Breton game, where he kind of looped out of the zone and then came back in the zone, kind of like what Loshing does.
Yeah.
He loops around, then he gets it on his he gets it fed to him and he shoots it. Right? The difference, Samuel Johnson's shot went in the back of the net. Loshing's goes into a shin pad.
Yeah. Or over the net.
Or over the net. Like there's a lot to say this week that I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
I wanted so badly to play that clip of Bruce Boudreau.
And if you want to know what clip it is, just go find it. It's Bruce Boudreau from the Road to the Winter Classic with the Washington Capitals in the dressing room. And, so crap's not going well.
Yeah, well, there's F-bombs here and F-bombs there. And
Yeah. But it's bang on.
It's
crap's not going well.
That is the Wildcats right now.
Yeah.
You would literally think he was coaching the Wildcats and talking to them in the dressing
Did you just
room.
start a rumor? What? But honestly, though, I'm not going to say Bruce Boudreau. If they move on from Lacroix shortly or whatever, I mean, you lose these 2 games, I don't believe he makes a road trip. I don't know how he makes a road trip. But, I mean, what's even out there? Are you turning to Heptage for 2 months as an interim? Who he deserves it. He's been an assistant for a while. He's been in the system. Maybe he can bring a new energy, a new voice. But you're not going to St. John it and pull Gardner out. You're not going to pull up John DeCourcy, who's winning. You're not going to pull up McGuinn, Summerside's coach.
Billy McGuigan.
Yeah, you're not going to pull a name like that can juice this team for 2 months and then figure it out in the offseason. Because even if you do, now you've got a team that is supposed to contend next year, 2 years away from potentially hosting a Memorial Cup. You have a coaching vacancy, which, like, what do you do win that spot? And I'm all for moving on from coaches, and I understand. Well, I'm not all for moving on, but I'm all for the prospect of we should move on from this coach, and this coach needs to be fired. And, our friend Andrew Barrington always asks about NFL coaches when they have 2-game losing streaks. Is he on the hot seat? Lacroix's on the hot seat, but who do you replace him with? And that's, I think, what the issue is for me on if it's coaching, who steps into that role?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to throw, for me to go and look up a couple names right now.
No,
I'm not going to do
but
that.
there's not a name out there that, like, is
Paul Boudelier. That's one name I'd throw out. That's just, that's all that's the only name I can really think of right now. I know he's not coaching. So he would technically be available. But I don't know. Maybe we're looking too much into it right now, and maybe we're just voicing frustrations when we shouldn't. But like I said, man, there's an opportunity here.
I don't think it's we're voicing when we shouldn't. You're absolutely, if you're paying to see this team play and you're invested in it and it's your team, which once you start paying, you can use we, our, whatever. you're frustrated with this month and you want stuff to change, and you're seeing it on the boards,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm. It's true. We're not the only ones talking about coaching changes and this and that. It's being talked about.
What year was it that they had a players only meeting?
Oh, jeez.
One of our shows they had one of those. I think it was it was one of the first. I think it was your first year. We kind of heard rumblings that they had a players only meeting, and maybe that's what they do. Maybe it's not coaching that can kind of fix this. Maybe it's the players sitting in a room and hashing this thing out. And I don't know, but we need to see some lineup changes come Saturday against St. John. And I think the defensive core, and I think Moran and Hamel, you tried that experiment and it's not working.
Nope, it's really not. Yeah, you're right. There needs to be something. The D needs to be different. And that's the only thing that's bothering me right now. The goaltending, it's other than the. I mean, did you see I was going to say Jacob. Wow. Jacob Steinman's glove save against Cape Breton in the dying seconds. Yeah. I mean, he's still in it, right? He's still invested in the team.
We're up 3-1. Fillion's making saves, and then the team just stops.
Yep.
They just stop playing.
Yep.
And fans can shit on Fillion all they want, but if the 5 guys in front of them don't play and don't take the guys, it's really tough for a goaltender to stand on his head night after night after night.
Like they are literally hanging him out to dry.
Yeah.
And that's both goalies right now. And that's the issue right now. They're hanging the goalies out to dry. And if it keeps happening, we're going to lose both games this weekend, and we're going to get a good old ass kicking in 3 games next week.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're wondering, maybe our draft pick's going to be a lottery pick.
And then suddenly we're wondering, well, now we've got a race against St. John, Bathurst, and Charlottetown, who were on the road as part of the 6-game road trip. But it's something that's got to get fixed. You got a week to fix it. It's a perfect time for the week off. And whether it's the coaching that fixes it or the players that fix it within that room without the coaches, something's got to be fixed, because this is a team that right now is not playing up to expectations, especially my expectations. This record is not what I expected.
I guess we should be top 5 in the league.
Yep.
No questions asked. Like it shouldn't even be a debate right now. With the games that we've lost that we should have won, the points are there that we should be top 5 in the league. We should already have home ice advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you can't you just need to be better.
Yep.
Right now they don't even have home ice right now.
Nope. They would play Chicoutimi and they'd start on the road on the big ice.
Yeah. So.
All right, you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Yeah, sure. After that.
Every single time.
Eric Murray, Realtor. Buy our house from him. Stick Tap of the Week.
Okay. So I kind of have a 2-parter. The first part is we're going to go to a new barbershop that just opened up recently, MVP Barbershop, and located beside the Superstore on Main Street. Now, this is apparently a chain of barbershops across Canada, and the Moncton location just opened up a couple days ago. Now, the reason why they're getting a stick tap is they've made it welcoming for everybody to the point where they've actually installed a power accessible door. They've got a accessible washroom, and they've even got a accessible dedicated workstation where anyone in a wheelchair can come up and literally get the same service as everybody else.
That's awesome.
And I saw that Brent DeBourne had shared that, so I thought that was worthy of a mention on the show. So I know they're on Facebook, MVP Modern Barbers Moncton. They are located. Let me just get the page up here. While I'm 165 Main Street, so it's literally right beside the Superstore. They've got a a lounge with free Wi-Fi and free beverages.
Is that in like where Giant Tiger and
Yeah,
Fifth
in
Plus
that
is
strip
and stuff?
mall there. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you can get your groceries, your weed, and a haircut.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
One-stop shop.
That's weed superstore,
Giant Tiger.
Giant Tiger haircut.
Hit the weight room, and away
Yeah.
you go.
And so I thought that was pretty neat, and worthy of a stick tap. Now, part deux is something that was sent to me over I believe it was Monday on the Facebook. I do need to find it here. Here it is. So after the game on Sunday,
Yes.
as much as we want to crap on this team, there are some things being done off the ice that do need to be mentioned. So we had, I believe it was...
And this is when we crap on the team, it's the play on the ice.
Yeah.
It is never the person or the kid or the player for any organization. So you're bang on. As much as frustrated we are, it is never at the kids off the ice because guess what? They're kids.
That's good. That's right. And it kind of leads into this. It's after the game on Sunday, like I said, this was sent to me from it was on the Moncton's Hits and Misses Facebook page, and it says some of the Moncton Wildcats came to Sports Rock tonight and made a shy little girl's dream come true. She had brought her little Wild Willie plush toy to show off after the game, and she was so excited. Her and her family are just a pleasure to see walk through the door. There were 4 members of the Wildcats that walked in, very handsomely dressed, and represented the team so great that everyone knew who they were. She was so excited and tried to walk over at least 3 times, but was so in awe she lost her gumption. I'm not sure what gumption is. I've never seen that word
Gumption
before.
is like her nerve.
Okay, got it.
Which I get it.
Makes
I've
sense.
done that
Yeah.
when I try to talk to the Wildcats too, and I'm 40.
These team members got up in the middle of their meal and walked over to sign her toy. That was so heartwarming to see, and I was so proud to be a Wildcats fan. Thank you to the young men that stayed true to maritime values. I've served hockey teams of all ages for more years than I'd like to admit, and this display of kindness is absolutely what I've seen being taught all throughout minor hockey. So thank you to the Wildcats, thank you minor hockey, and all the hours that the parents put in to dedicated to hockey. You have amazed this server over the years, and I appreciate you. So that's Amy Gallant. She's actually a server at the Sports Rock in Dieppe. Now, she attached a picture. Now, I want to say this one's Cole Bishop with the black jacket and the hair. Yeah. This tall gentleman in the suit's obviously Gabe Smith because nobody's as tall as Gabe Smith.
Yeah.
Now, I just can't identify the red shirt and the white pants, and I want to say the blonde one in the background is Mueller just because of the bad haircut. But don't quote me on that. So,
I think it's Grenier.
You think this one's Grenier?
I think so.
Okay, so again, we know who 2 of the 4 are, but he just got out of a tough loss, and he go to a restaurant to have a bite to eat, but he still managed to make a little girl's night or whatever. So good on you, boys. That's what we need. That's what's going to make you not necessarily you as players, but more recognizable faces in the community, and that's really what we need.
Yep.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the Remax Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
Yeah, and this isn't about the players themselves. We guessed who they were, but just in general, like going out after a loss like that and being able to sign something for a kid. And you know what? That might have been the only game that kid went to.
Yeah.
And she's going to want to go to more because of these kids getting up selflessly and signing that. So, that was an excellent stick tap. I kind of want to reach out to Amy and find out who they were just to see if our guesses are right. Not to give them like the extra praise, but just to see if our guesses are right. All right, that brings us to the Wildcats Wildcat of the Week presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa, who now direct bills as well. They've got specials in January. The 60-minute quintessential facial is now $30 off. It's $50. The 90-minute is savings of $25 for $70. And the dermaplaning I don't know what these things are, but they, save $20. They're now $50. If you want to book those this final week here, give her a call at 830-1224 or visit her at 1224 Mountain Road. The Wildcats Wildcat of the week. Again, we agree with the parent club, the Moncton Wildcats. This is one of the few bright spots in this past week of players. There's been maybe 3 or 4 that have had a really good week. He's got 4 goals in 3 straight games, adding 2 assists to that, and he's basically doing it all on the top line. Barbashev has had kind of the same amount of points down low, so maybe I would put those 2 together, help the offense, but you want to have the depth in there. But he has been great as a 20-year-old. Excuse me. In this stretch of games, helping the trying to get some W's here for the team. So your Wildcats Wildcat of the week is number 18, Vinny LaBelle. That'll do it for this week. I know we weren't the most positive coming out of these games, but hey, this is an excellent weekend to go see them play. Saturday against St. John, Sunday against Cape Breton. It is Timbits weekend, so there will be a lot of children there. It's always one of the special weekends that I don't think they've had since the 2019 season.
No.
So it'll be kind of cool to have all those kids back in the rink. Look, there was 5,600, 5,800. Where's the Chicoutimi game? There it is. 5,500 people for that Chicoutimi game. It was pretty loud. The team didn't really do a whole lot, but so let's keep going. Let's fill that rink up with the Timbits hockey teams and whatnot. So that'll do it for us. Hopefully it's a big weekend. Hopefully you're there, and we can be a little bit more positive as we head out on a very tough road trip to begin February. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.